Reporting live from Ibis Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No, sir.
Really?
Okay.
Cops have not talked to you yet. It's odd to me.
Just to gather information.
Yeah,
as
that
part
the
of their
cops wouldn't have
investigation.
contacted you. Yeah.
As the mysterious death of Nolan Wells continues, the spotlight grows on the Jackson County Sheriff's Department in Mississippi, who are in charge with finding out what happened to Wells. Now, after 7 days have went by since Wells would first go missing, many key questions remain. As we previously reported, two of Wells' friends would end up speaking to a local outlet the day his body was found, in which specifically Javon Williams would reveal that he was supposed to be on the same boat as Nolan, confirmed he saw Nolan on the island, and even has expressed that there was a fight that took place on the island, but doesn't believe it involved Nolan directly. Now, despite who some may consider as a key person in a thorough investigation, Williams would reveal that he has not been contacted by authorities a week after his friend would go missing. In an interview on Friday on TMZ, Williams would speak with Harvey Levin, who also was an attorney for nearly 20 years, to answer a few questions in regards to his connection to the case. As Harvey would ask Javon a few things, he would become shocked on air that the Jackson County Police Department have not contacted him yet for any statement, given that he has publicly shared he was on the island, saw Nolan, and knows the group of boys Nolan traveled to the island with.
They said they're still investigating. Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No, sir.
Really?
Okay.
Cops have not talked to you yet.
No, sir. I don't see why the cops would have to talk to me.
I'll tell you why I'm surprised. Because you knew Nolan well, and you knew that he was friends with these guys who were the last ones to be around him. I would think they would at least want to know, hey, just the things we're asking.
Right.
It's odd to me.
Just to gather information.
Yeah,
as
that
part
the
of their
cops wouldn't have
investigation.
contacted you. Yeah.
Now, outside of Harvey's clear concerns with Williams not being approached for questioning after the sheriff would express a thorough investigation would be done, several people in the comments would call out the department for potentially covering up the case. In the comments, one user would say, "The fact that the police have not reached out to this kid tells me the police aren't really trying to get to the bottom of what actually happened." While another on Facebook reacting to Javon's interview would say, "Nolan Wells' best friend says there was a hostile confrontation on the island the day he died. He says it didn't involve Nolan himself, but a different friend. And here's what's more interesting. He says the cops haven't spoken to him at all." Now, to the user's points, upon research on tactics previously used by police looking to cover up crimes, one thing done is called tunnel vision, which is when you intentionally avoid interviewing key people like witnesses, whistleblowers, and experts to focus on one specific narrative. By not interviewing key people, it can help shield the guilty party and gives the ability to create plausible deniability, and over time leaves the case going cold. As you should know if you've been following the case, the Jackson County Sheriff Department has already hinted that they don't see any sign of foul play at this time, which would concern many, including Wells' family, who have now teamed up with attorney Benjamin Crump to conduct their own investigation and autopsy. During a press conference on Friday, along with their first ever interview, Crump would express the family's concerns with their son's death, getting a trustworthy investigation given the history of Mississippi and young black men, along with local officials already looking to imply that Wells' death was a simple drowning. Now, for some who don't believe a cover-up is taking place, their theory is Nolan must have drowned when possibly peeing in the water. One Facebook user who says they were there on Horn Island that day would go on to share the drowning theory more in depth, accompanied by a tie graphic for that day. My assumption on the Horn Island tragedy, solely based on my experience on these waters for over 55 years. No racism, no foul play, no hate crime. I was there that day, simply a young man regardless of color, there mainly to meet a girl whom he likely knew was going to be there. He stayed behind to continue to hopefully hang with her a little longer and maybe get a ride back in her boat. He likely had 4 or 5 options going back later. Normal hookup behavior. If you're out there for obvious reasons, my explanation of leaving the phone on the boat would be as simple as, I remember when I was 18 and I had a pretty girl that showed interest in me. I forgot a lot of stuff. I wasn't supposed to except her. Once the boat departed, there's no recovering it until back home. Simply an assumption. Somehow he wandered off, maybe to take a piss, and got swept away. It was 3 deep in boats and stereos were blaring from all directions. I was almost swept away while cleaning my hull around 3 p.m. P.S. 15 or so years ago, I almost lost my life on that very point. along with Chris Estes and Ted Riemann. If you've never experienced this kind of tide, you have no idea how quick desperation can happen. Now, if this was the case, the question for some would be why no one saw Nolan. It is reported that someone relieving themselves at the beach typically only separate themselves about 6 to 15 feet from others, meaning for the pee and drowning theory to make sense, Nolan would have to have had gone far away from others, out of complete view for no one to see him if he drowned. So as the investigation continues, it appears for many that two things may have happened. Either Wells did get in the water with no one around and was swept away, or something troubling involving his friends who allegedly left him on the island to speak with the girl. Now, another question for some that comes up in regards of Nolan allegedly being left on the island according to his friends, why did they reportedly contact the Coast Guard if they reportedly left him on Horn Island? A use-on expert write, the Nolan Wells case leaves me with some very serious questions. If what his friends are saying is true, that Nolan decided to stay behind and hang out with the girl, then why was the Coast Guard contacted at 11 p.m. by those same friends? And why did the Coast Guard initially deny having any communication with the child of the judge? Because here's the question I can't get past. If everyone truly believed Nolan was simply hanging out with someone else, why would you need the Coast Guard? The Coast Guard is a search and rescue resource. So what information did the friends at 11 p.m. have that made them believe Nolan could be or near the water? Keep in mind, they kept Nolan's phone and keys, so how would Nolan be able to communicate to this friend group he was in distress if they had his phone? Let's talk about it more in the comments below. How do you feel about Nolan's best friend not being approached by local authorities as a key person? And which of the two theories do you feel may be what happened? Or do you have another explanation? Reporting live from Ivers Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.